Have you ever had that one thing that you really like but nobody else understands? Whether it be a game, show, movie, content creator, musician, etc. It seems like everyone has something they like, but when they tell someone else about it, they don't really get it. That's what Moon Remix RPG Adventure is to me. It's a really weird game, but it's an unexpectedly special experience that offered more to me than any game I've ever played in a long time. Moon may seem like a strange and lost game, but it pushed the boundaries of what an RPG can be, and even inspired Toby Fox to make Undertale. I first found out about Moon from my friend Elias telling me I should buy it after discovering it for himself. I looked up gameplay for it, and admittedly I thought to myself that it was kinda weird. It just looked like some random RPG, and I felt like the style was really unusual. A few months passed by, and after Elias told me to get it about 1,000,000 times, I finally caved and paid the $20 to download the game on my Switch. While it was downloading, I was thinking to myself that I probably just wasted $20, and I'd probably get bored of the game and never play it again. But I actually found the game to be an amazing experience like I've never had before. Moon is considered an anti-RPG, assumedly because the creators wanted to make an RPG which deviated from the oversaturated style of RPGs like Final Fantasy. The developers wanted to push the boundaries of what an RPG could be. They did this immediately by completely flipping the premise of what an RPG is. The game begins with you playing as a kid playing a stereotypical 90s RPG video game in his room. In this RPG, you're a character named Hiro, who goes around killing monsters to defend the city and level up his power. He destroys vicious monsters and gets help from the people in the town to finally defeat the evil dragon that supposedly stole the moon's light. After beating the game, the kid gets ready to go to sleep, but he gets sucked into the TV. He falls from the sky, hits the ground, and realizes he's just woken up within the video game. He can see everyone around him, but nobody can see him, so the game calls him Invisible Boy. Upon exploring, Invisible Boy sees the king's assistant give orders to the hero for the king, and the hero goes off to battle more creatures. Invisible Boy finds a house in the forested area outside of town and enters it. Inside the house is a dog and an old blind lady named Granby. Granby believes that Invisible Boy is her grandson who recently passed away and is delighted to know he's alright. Granby tells him to get some sleep. In his dream, he meets a floating head called the Moon Queen with a hat full of stacked planets. The Moon Queen tells him he must devote himself to the people of Moon and collect love to be able to roam the world. When Invisible Boy wakes, Granby gives him clothes, now making him visible to the people of Moon World. He explores the world again, but this time around Invisible Boy realizes that this hero isn't much of a hero. Hero arrogantly walks around town, doing whatever he wants. This would be excusable if he was actually a hero, but this is the next thing Invisible Boy realizes is a lie. He sees Hero murdering an innocent creature wandering the woods and leaves to find the next thing to slaughter. A spirit emerges from the ground and tells Invisible Boy that Hero does this for experience points to get more powerful for killing the dragon. But Invisible Boy has the ability to make things better by capturing the spirits of the killed animals and bringing them back to life. The saved animals are carried away by a UFO-looking creature and it drops Yenum, or money backwards. He also gets a number of love points for saving each animal, coupled with an extremely satisfying animation and sound. On the top left of the screen is a circular meter that tells what day it is, what time it is, and how much energy you have left before needing to go to sleep to replenish your energy. Love points can level up Invisible Boy, which increases how long he can be awake before having to go back to sleep. When you sleep, the Moon Queen levels up your love level if you've collected enough love points too. This premise completely switches up the entire idea of what an RPG is. Instead of killing things to increase experience level, you save the things killed by Hero to collect love and better improve Moon World. The most interesting part of the game so far is that when the player is sucked into the game, he's placed into a position where he has to undo what he did while he was playing the game. Because the kid played Hero in the video game, everything he sees the hero do are his own actions that he did while playing the game. This is what hooked me in when I first played Moon. The idea that your actions in a game impact real things with real emotions is only something you occasionally think about, but rarely actually see as a concept, which is why Moon is so enticing. For example, while the kid is playing the game, he opens a woman's drawer and collects legendary armor to help him along the way. When you actually go into the game though, you find that he actually stole the woman's underwear and put it on, later leading to a Rock moving out of his way because of the secondhand embarrassment the Rock felt for Hero wearing the woman's underwear. From here on out, the main focus of the game becomes trying to stop Hero on his murderous conquest. Invisible Boy gets situated in the town and meets the people within it. This town has many different characters who each have their own roles to help create a towny feel. This includes characters like Wanda the bartender, the baker made of bread, and Florence the psychedelic addicted hobo. Despite their character differences, everyone seems to have a connection to each other, making the town feel less robotic. Right as Invisible Boy drops into the game, there's a gossip circle right below. It's clear right off the bat that the developers wanted this town to feel like one, rather than just random characters with random jobs in something called a town. This is a problem that many modern games have today, where all these cool characters exist but they never interact with each other, taking away a golden opportunity to make the game more than fun, but to also make the players feel a special connection with the game. Each character has specialized dialogue, like all of them having different responses to different items you show to them, giving them all their own unique personalities. The town works on a schedule, with the shops closing at night, giving a lifelike feel to the town. Once night comes, the people will all do their own things, like the flower shop owner Flora going to sleep in the upstairs of her mom's bar, or the baker going to the back of his shop and cooking himself for bread to sell the next day. Moon was years ahead of its time in this regard, and the whole town and everyone inside it feels lifelike. As you progress through the game, just by exploring, you'll find many little ways to get love, whether it's finding random animal spirits to collect or doing good things for people, like finding the bartender's lost ring that she had when she used to be in love with Florence the hobo. These little ways to get love make the relatively small map feel much larger in comparison and make the game feel like you're having a positive impact on the world. Moving on in your quest, the next map area contains a welcoming appearing house. The house's owner Nika allows Invisible Boy to stay in his house after he pushes Nika over the edge to embrace his weirdness and live his lifelong dream of digging holes. This new house acts as a central area for Invisible Boy to get everywhere on the map. Hero still continues his crusade, killing anything that will give him experience. He's even gone so far as to try and kill the pet of a family located south of Invisible Boy's new house, and he has to try and stop it. This family is depicted as the stereotypical American family, with a grassy yard, a white fence, and a big house. The family has a pet that sits out on the yard, and Hero wants to kill it for XP. In order to stop him, Invisible Boy first dresses up as the pet in a costume made by the parents for the little girl's birthday, sets himself on fire in the fireplace, and tricks Hero into thinking killing him instead of the pet will give him more experience. After slashing his costume away, Hero leaves. This moment shows what lengths Hero is willing to go to just to get a little more powerful, and that no animal is safe. To the left of the American house is an old man's house. If you talk to him, the old man finds any way to get mad at you and kick you out, but you have to get into the house to open the fridge and drawers in a certain order to access a secret area underneath the house. You discover this when going into a water barrel next to the house, and you overhear voices saying, "Frid Dre, Frid Frid Dre." To access the area, you must sneak into the house at night while the old man is sleeping and only move when the noisy windmill blades are turning. Once the correct order of opening the fridge and drawer is done, Invisible Boy can enter the secret area. Below the house is an activist group consisting of 3 members: Umi, the water pollution hater, Momi, the tree hugger, and Femi, the feminist. They give you a slate they stole from the king's minister. These slates are located all around the map and are designed to help you figure out what to do in the game and decipher the story, although they're kind of vague in the first place, so that's where a walkthrough comes in handy. Continuing his adventure, Invisible Boy finds a man with a guitar who sells music discs. He feels embarrassed about his guitar playing, so if you walk nearby he puts his guitar away. But if you stay far enough away, you can watch him try to correctly play a Jimi Hendrix style guitar riff. If you wait long enough, he finally gets it down, and seeing it is extremely satisfying. You can buy and play music discs from the man and play them whenever you want to. According to an article written by Rebecca Valentine, the music was organized by a band called the Thelonious Monkeys, who got different artists to compose all kinds of different styles of music. The music was intended to give the player a choice of what they want to listen to and when. There isn't a lot of music in Moon that's played in the background for specific areas, which gives the player a lot more of a choice of using the music discs to play music in the background. As one of the members of Thelonious Monkeys, Masanori Adachi, said, "In the end, it's completely up to the player to decide whether any given MD fits the mood, and there are some players who don't even listen to the MDs at all." The sound effects and voices were designed to withstand that sort of play. It was pretty uncommon for games of that era to have almost no music playing at all. Now you see it all the time, notably in games like Breath of the Wild, making Moon way ahead of its time. After passing the music disc region, Invisible Boy discovers a building near his new house and discovers a strange man inside. When talking to him, he introduces himself as Adder. Adder worships one of the animals called Sid Vitness and sees it as God. Sid Vitness is the corpse of an animal which blocks a path outside of the building. Adder sees himself as Sid Vitness's spokesperson and puts Invisible Boy through religious training. The training consists of a few memory games and finishes with summoning Sid Vitness for a prayer. If you capture Sid Vitness, the UFO guy picks him up and Adder, quote, assumes the power of God, giving him a massive ego boost, and Invisible Boy earns love. This now clears the path for Invisible Boy to move on. This path leads to the entrance to a mushroom forest, with a little stick figure character lying on the ground. These characters, called Kakunte, live in the mushroom forest and even speak their own language. To save the dying Kakunte, you must get a mushroom from the mushroom forest and feed it to the Kakunte. If you eat a mushroom in the mushroom forest, walkable mushroom platforms appear that fade in and out, giving a psychedelic effect. Saving the dying Kakunte makes the other Kakunte extremely grateful, and they make more platforms appear, allowing you to progress further in the game. At this point, depending on how much love you've collected, you're getting semi-close to the end of the game. Invisible Boy has been collecting a lot of love, but Hero has been gaining experience even faster, and he's marching his way towards killing the dragon. As Invisible Boy enters the next area, he sees Hero exiting an ominous appearing house. The inside is dark and almost concerning. The bottom floor has a strange looking man trapped behind bars. This man is a scientist named Stein Hager, who's building a rocket to the moon for the king. He tells you to capture the spirit of a ghost trapping him inside. In actuality, Dr. Hager realizes that the switch to let him out is right behind him, and he leaves in his walking machine. To finish with the haunted house, Invisible Boy must enter the stomach of a painting and feed its inhabitants 3 different foods. There's so many different things that happen in this game that I can't even talk about in this video, both because I don't want to spoil everything and also because there's just too much to talk about. Moon is so good at making its own unique world, characters, and different challenges, so it's apparent why this game inspired Undertale. This world building continues further and more intensely as the game rolls into its late stage. Just when you think the game can't go any further, it does it again. The next area is the biggest leap so far. If you pay Hager for a golden badge or find it in the refrigerator in the American house, you can enter Hager's lab. If you think the haunted house was ominous, look at this path to Hager's lab. The lab is clearly the workings of a madman. Entering a chute at the bottom of the lab teleports you to a futuristic city named Technopolis. The inhabitants of Technopolis are robots, to show how people feel in big cities. There's so many ways to get love in Technopolis that I won't spoil, but the most important area in the city is the rocket room. To be able to fly the rocket, you must get a few parts for it: a navigation system, alcohol, a rocket propulsion, a refrigerator, and a game station, the game's equivalent of PlayStation, which is the game's original console. Once the player has gotten all the parts, Invisible Boy is ready to go to the moon. But he must hurry, as Hero is getting closer to ruthlessly killing the innocent dragon and dooming Moonworld. You must have a high enough love level to last for an almost 15-minute voyage. Upon landing, all of the animals you've saved are chilling on the moon. One area on the moon is a door blocked by slates. This door represents freedom for the land of Moonworld, but no matter how hard Invisible Boy tries pushing the door open, he can't muster the strength to do so. You can feel the pressure of the whole world pushing on you as you try to stop the hero before it's too late, but the door won't budge. The other location on the moon is a castle. Inside the castle, you find the Moon Queen and the dragon. When talking to them, they get apprehensive about the door not opening. The camera switches to the rocket, and Hero storms out from it. He zaps every animal on the moon into slates, which now hold information on their fate. He enters the castle and prepares to kill the Moon Queen and dragon. Everyone in the room feels their fate closing in on them as he kills them off one by one. After killing off 2 vital characters, Teiko and Yoshida, Hero turns to kill the dragon. Winding up, he jumps towards them, and he actually kills them, and they turn into their own slate. The slate reads, "If you had more love than any level number could express, perhaps even the records of the Rum-Rums could be rewritten. Do not forget, when you see a door before your eyes, open the door with your love itself." When finished reading, Hero turns and kills Invisible Boy, and proceeds to collapse himself. The screen fades and returns to the boy's room, and gives the player the option to proceed or not. If you press yes, the game ends after the kid gets sucked back into the game, showing an end screen. The end screen only goes away when you quit the game and reopen it, taking you back to your last save. You may collect every bit of love in the game, but no matter what, you won't be able to open the door. The real door the game hinted to is the door in the boy's room. If you select no, the boy decides to get off the game and open the door to his room and go outside. Only when you do this does the game actually open the door on the moon. This is what the game means by more love than any level number could express. You don't need to have a high love level to open the door. All it takes is the little boy's love outside of the game to open it. He realizes the impact he's had on the game playing as hero and learns to let go. The door in-game opens up to a bright white light, and all the villagers gather to watch. The people of Moonworld have been saved. A credits sequence plays of the saved animals in the real world. The game ends on a high note, putting all the characters in a fitting spot in the real world, like putting Tao the dog next to this statue, and the baker in a bakery. Seeing all these characters thriving in real world situations, happy to be doing what they love, feels so good inside. It makes me feel proud of these characters that don't even exist. If there's something about Moon that I love, it's that it always makes me feel so good inside. My day could be absolutely sucking and I could start at Moon and just feel better. The Moon style is just so unique that you couldn't find anything like it anywhere else. Moon is such a unique game. So much so that it was to its own detriment, unfortunately. I feel like Elias could explain better how I feel, so here he is.
I am disappointed with Moon. Not by the gameplay. I love the gameplay. I'm disappointed by how popular it is. It is a very underrated game, specifically amongst all of my friends who don't know the game. I actually got Calvin into Moon Remix RPG, and we've been talking about that game ever since it launched on the Nintendo Switch. I think one of the reasons it's not popular enough is how it looks, and screenshots on store pages don't really do the game that much justice, and people looking at the game and looking at, a boy, not even a boy, he's called Invisible Boy, because he's invisible in the game world and gets clothes, which makes him visible, and all the weird designs of the animals. I was about to say monsters, but they're animals, and just the design of the game when it was made for the PS1, I think is a big reason why people don't want to play it, which is disappointing because this game is absolutely lovely. If you play the game, you will understand what I mean, because it's about love. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to say about it.
It's interesting how there are two scales when it comes to games. One scale is a game's lure factor. Does seeing the game make you want to play it? The other scale is the impact scale. Did the game actually impact you? Did it satisfy you? Some games have a high scale of both. Those games usually become heavily popular. Games that are neither luring or impactful usually get nowhere. Games that are luring but bad usually get a lot of scrutiny. And games which aren't very luring but are impactful typically become cult classics. Moon falls into this category. It may seem weird to some, making them not want to play it, but those who do actually play it love it. Perfect proof for this is Toby Fox being inspired by Moon and making one of the biggest games of the 2010s. The developers of Moon decided to take a chance and redefine what an RPG is, and it paid off with its impact on people who played it and ultimately the genre as a whole. I love Moon because it's a story about doing good things for the world, growing up, and love. Thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully you consider clicking one of these videos. See ya!